Hey everyone, it's Bob Shindelar with the Western Ice Fishing Association. I'm here on Lake Cascade, Idaho today, and it is absolutely picture perfect. We're catching nice jumbo yellow perch here on the lake and also picking up a few rainbow trout. Come join us as we spend the rest of this afternoon here in Lake Cascade, Idaho. I'm here on Lake Cascade. It's a very special, unique place. It's one of the few places in North America where you're going to catch jumbo yellow perch that will just blow your mind. These fish are so impressive. To catch a 14-inch perch is an average fish in this lake. It's not uncommon to hear folks catching fish that are 16, 17 inches. Many fish have already been caught this winter that are in the 2.5 pound range, some even larger than that. 2-pound fish is a pretty common fish. 1.5 pounds is an average fish. So it's a wonderful place. There's good numbers of fish here. I'm fishing today with a Buckshot minnow from Northland tackle. This particular minnow here is a natural perch color. What I did is I replaced the treble hook that comes with the lure and replaced it with a BMC glow hook. What I'm doing is I'm tipping the hooks with Euro larva, multicolor of red, yellow, and white, and then I'm adding a bit of scent to it. The scent that I'm using is Mr. Icehole from Procure Scent. It's a panfish and perch flavor for catching panfish. This stuff works excellent. If you've never used scent on your jigs and lures, you're missing out. It doesn't take very much. A small little dab on the bait or the end of the hook on your lure will bring those fish in. Sometimes I'll coat the backside of the lure as well. But if you haven't tried Procure Scents, they have a variety of different flavors available. They also have Nightcrawler and Carp Spit, which are common flavors that I like to use as well. And it will add more fish to the bucket. So be sure you're using some scent with your tackle. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. I'm fishing in 15 foot of water, and I've been moving around today trying to find the fish. We've had a bit of weather that's come through lately, and we have been extremely warm, and now all of a sudden we've got into a cold snap and we received quite a bit of snow, and the fish are now dispersed across the lake. I had them pretty well pegged down a couple weeks ago, but since this weather moved in, the fish are scattered. So I started off today fishing in the shallower water because I thought maybe they would be near the inlets where the warmer water is coming into the lake. And I started at 12 foot and I worked my way all the way down to 4 foot of water in various locations, and I really wasn't finding the fish. So I went back out towards the center of the lake and got into the old river channel. And right now, fishing right along a little bit of structure. Jumbo yellow perch here in Lake Cascade are very aggressive fish. It's pretty amazing. They're a lot of fun to catch. You know, I could put them right up there with the walleye in terms of their aggressive bite. I fish them very similarly. These fish are feeding primarily on minnows right now. We had a really good minnow production this year on Lake Cascade. The reservoir was kept full, and the minnow population is very high. So the fish have been actively feeding on minnows this entire winter. It's not always like that. Some years, on drier years when we have a drought, the minnow production may not be as well. And sometimes when you get into late winter, what will happen is these fish will switch to feeding on larvae from the bottom of the lake. They'll rub their bellies against the bottom and they'll stir up the sediment, and the larvae will start to rise and they'll feed on that. They'll also feed on snails and crayfish. And this year, it's been interesting, I've actually caught a number of perch with baby bullheads in their mouth, so which is kind of new to me. I haven't seen them do that before. So, but lots of perch right now is what they're eating on. Is they prey on themselves, and they're young. So you can see take advantage of that. I'm taking this Buckshot minnow, and I've generously put a large amount of Euro larva on there. So I'm going to add a little bit of the Mr. Icehole Procure Scent It doesn't take very much. All you do is you just put a little dab around the treble, like so. What I'm doing is I'm jigging near the bottom. I'm fishing really the bottom 3 feet of the water column. And what I do is I keep my jig just above the fish, and I'm making them chase it. These fish are very aggressive, and so they're going to chase these bait minnows. And sometimes I can get them to lift 6, 7, 8, sometimes even 10 feet off the bottom. They'll chase it that far up, and then they'll just nail it. It's pretty impressive when the bite is on with these jumbo yellow perch here in Lake Cascade. They're just very aggressive, and oftentimes when you get one big fish to chase your lure, other large fish will also follow that perch. So what you want to do is as soon as you catch a fish, you want to get it off the hook and get your lure down as quickly as possible before that school moves on. These fish don't tend to just hold in one particular spot. They're constantly cruising and looking for fresh food, and they're on the move. They're looking for the minnows. And there's a lot of competition here in the lake for the perch. There's a lot of rainbow trout also in Lake Cascade, which are also actively feeding on the minnows as well. Right now. He's chasing it, chasing it, chasing it, chasing it. Ooh, there he is, got him. So you need that length of the rod to help set the hook. The line's caught on the edge of the ice here. Okay. Again, I'm only using 4-pound tests, so you got to be cautious with these fish. These jumbo yellow perch, you know, they approach 3 pounds. This is a nice fish. Bad fish? Okay, that right there is an average fish for Lake Cascade. That's a good 13, 14-inch fish. Beautiful jumbo yellow perch on a gorgeous day. It's March 6th, and what an awesome time to be here on the lake. Unfortunately, my fishing buddy, my wife, Robin, wasn't able to join me today. We had a conflict in schedules, so I'm solo today doing a little filming and catching these beautiful fish without her, but I am thinking about her and wishing she was here, but I'm glad I'm able to share this with you all. So check out that jumbo yellow perch. All right, I'm gonna let this fish go. Beauty. When the bite is on with these jumbo yellow perch here in Lake Cascade, you can be fairly aggressive with your jigging. A lot of times what will happen is you end up with a bunch of small perch that come in, and they can be kind of annoying sometimes, picking at your bait and chasing your lure, but never really committing to biting. When I see a lot of small fish that are hugging the bottom, oftentimes what I'll do is I'll jig about 2 feet above them. And a lot of times those small fish, they won't expose themselves. They won't come that far up off the bottom because they're going to become vulnerable. They can become bait themselves. And so by fishing those, or by jigging above the smaller fish, oftentimes I can pull those big fish up off the bottom. The big perch that are in this lake, you know, that are 14 plus inches all the way up to 17, they're not afraid. Right now they're the main predator in the lake. And those big fish, they'll come up off the bottom and they'll separate themselves from the little fish. Oftentimes I'll know that there is a big fish in the neighborhood because I'll see the little fish disappear on my screen. And I've got a trout coming in right now. He just came in from above. Let's see if I can get him. As I mentioned, there are a lot of trout in Lake Cascade. And I just saw this fish come in from the surface, and he dove down on my lure, so he's trying to target it. I'm sure he'll come back. Maybe not. It's always exciting when you see a big flash come down from the top and it just smashes your lure. He took a swing at my lure and missed. Might come back. But as I was saying, a lot of times when a big fish comes in, you'll know it because the little fish will scatter. They'll disappear on your screen. And it won't be long, Big Mama comes in and she'll just inhale your lure. So you got to be constantly watching your flasher and understanding it and reading it, and key in on those signals. Oh, here comes one. Pause. There we go. Oh, nice fish. Oh, I think it's a trout. Yeah, this is a big fish. Oh, big fish. Whoa, 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 listen to that. Whoa. Yeah, baby. This is a good fish. I'll be lucky if I catch this one. Those big head shakes those rainbows have, they get really crazy when they get near the hole. I'm gonna stand up here so I can look down the hole, have a better visual. Whoa. I just saw the tail on that fish. Listen to it strip the line. Holy Toledo, folks, we got a fish here. Come on. Give me a chance at this one. What do I have here? Oh, this is a giant, giant, giant rainbow. Huge. Okay, how do I get his head in here? That is a big fish. Holy Toledo. Come on. Get your head in there. I'm actually going to have to let a little line out. Come on. Get your head turned around. Oh, almost. You almost had his head in here. This is a big, big, big rainbow trout. Oh, listen to that strip. Too long. You want to try and get him in as quickly as you can. I don't want to break this fish off. I just saw the tail again on this fish. The tail is almost as wide as my hole. I do have a good hook set. Looks like, oh, there's its head. There's its head. Oh, there it is. There it is. Check out that beautiful rainbow trout. Absolutely gorgeous. Another fine example of what Lake Cascade can produce. It is an incredible fishery. If you've never fished Lake Cascade, you have to come here and try it. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous fish. Wild fish. Check that out. Let me get this hook out and we'll get this girl back in the water. Check out that beautiful rainbow trout. Spectacular. Spectacular fish on a spectacular, beautiful day. Love Cascade. All right, let's get her back in the water. There you go. Gorgeous fish. Thank you. Oh, that was a lot of fun. Beautiful fish. Whew, I gotta catch my breath. That fish wore me out. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. Pause. No, not quite. Oh, here he comes. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Oh. Come on. Get your head up in here. There you go. Nice. There you go. That's what we've been looking for. Check out that jumbo yellow perch. They are the most beautiful fish. The size of them here in Lake Cascade is just astounding. There are no other places in North America where you're going to regularly catch jumbo yellow perch like this one here. What an incredible fish. All right, let her go. Well, I've had an incredible day here on Lake Cascade. I'm Bob Shindelar, pro staff with Striker Ice, and you're watching the Western Ice Fishing Association. Thanks for joining us.